She's a very bitty girl with very big possibilities, and fruit-filled fun is the secret to her recipe. She may be small, her task is too tall. She'll be your best bud, just give her a call.
Strawberry, strawberry.
She may be small, but no task is too tall for strawberry shortcake.
Hello and welcome back to the very best podcast. I am Cooks and I am Strawberry.
Why do I sound like an old lady? And don't say because I am. I'll punch you.
That was my young lady voice.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited about this season. I don't know if any of you remembered last season and how that season kind of made me not want to host an org again. But this season is actually fun. Well, we did have a little snafu that we'll get to, but at least it happened early. And we got it out of the way.
So, this season, as we talked about in cast assessment, is Looney Tunes. And we got 24 all newbie contestants ready to
Well,
spill
except
some blood on the battlefield.
well, except for Saren, because you know me, I always have to sneak somebody in. It's just what I do.
And I took a little bit of notes. Straw took a little bit of notes. And
You can definitely
these
tell.
players,
You can tell it's the first episode of the podcast because we're prepared. We're not like, hey, Cooks, you want to do the podcast? Just wing it. I don't know what's happening either. Like, we actually know what's going on. And I actually wrote things down. This is going to be the best, or it's going to be the most boring podcast ever. I'm not quite sure. We'll let them be the judge of it after they listen to it. So, I'm not sure if anybody we probably should recap a little bit for the people that might not have listened to the cast assessment. We did group them by ages, kind of. It was more to keep, I had to cast Alice because she's so sweet, and I had to cast Wyatt because he's so sweet, and I just couldn't say no to their sweetness, but I also couldn't have the 13 and 14-year-olds be on the same tribe as the 53-year-old, and because that's no fun for anybody, so I decided to have 3 tribes. One is the Buster and Babs tribe. They're all the little ones. And then there's Roadrunner and Wiley. They're like 16 to 20-ish. Well, no. The younger tribe is like 13 to 16. And then this tribe is 16 to 20. Saren, I ended up putting on this tribe rather than the young tribe because I know her and I know she's a little mature and she'd fit better in with the slightly older tribe. And then we have Granny and Tweety. And yes, we have a 53-year-old, which I think is so fun. And then I think there's a 35, there's a couple people in their 30s, and the rest are like at least drinking age, I think. So I'm excited about that. What are you excited about, Cooks?
I'm excited to see how this plays out because already these players are being so strategic and everything, and we have a lot of fun characters. Like, these aren't boring people. There's a lot of like fun people to root for, and a lot of players that you're like, these players are gonna play big. They're not gonna play small.
Yes, and I totally agree. And kind of like what we had with our seasons before, when we thought the young tribe was going to be the chaos drama tribe, it's really the older tribe. But we will get there. So, Cooks, what's my first challenge all the time?
The first challenge is parchment making.
Oh, parchment making. I love to do this. One, because it's a nice memory from the season. Aw, a nice memory. And it, I kind of think that, I think some of them like it, but it's like some of them hate it. And there's always some kind of drama about which one won, and this season was no different. We had 3 parchments, and we judged them. We have, I think I had 8 or 9 host judge, and there was a clear winner. But what didn't you like about the clear winner, Cooks?
Well, there was a clear winner, kind of. Like,
I mean, who cares how you hold the parchment as long as you write a name on it? Do you disagree?
I didn't like how it was horizontal. Because if you watch Survivor, it would look so weird if the parchment was horizontal.
Yes, I agree with that, but I guess it doesn't really look that weird when we do tribal on the computer. It doesn't look weird. And there was a lot of controversy because apparently if you hold it vertical, you have so much more room to put stuff on it. I don't really understand that. I mean, I guess maybe, but I don't see how that's an unfair advantage.
Basically was that a tribe lost, and Cricked made a lot of noise.
Wait a second. Was this tribe a big fat baby tribe?
Yeah, the old tribe was a big fat baby tribe. The old tribe, they were on VC together, which they were a VC tribe. Half the tribe was on VC, which we'll get to that. But we were in VC, and Cricked was going on and on about how they're shouldn't have gotten last because the one that was literally vertical won. And I voted for that one to win because I thought it was kind of cool. And this was something really unique about the old people's tribe parchment. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Straw, it was the first time they put you on a parchment. Because they had a cartoon version of Strawberry and a cartoon version of Bugs Bunny on either side. And that's why I didn't give them as much points, because it weirded me out.
Why does Strawberry Shortcake weird you out? And it hasn't been the first time. There has been others that had put a Strawberry Shortcake on the parchments. It just didn't win. Probably because it weirded you out.
Yeah, but it weirded me out, but then it grew on me afterward. And then when they started poking fun at the winning one, which the winning one, the top half is all Roadrunner by the Roadrunner tribe, and the bottom half has all the Looney Tunes. And so, like, if this was in general for the whole season, it's like the other characters are on there, but it specifically highlights Roadrunner.
Well, before they made the change, it looked exactly like that, but on the bottom square it said Wiley and Roadrunner, and then eventually someone said, "Oh, everybody's using this parchment." So then that was their way of putting everybody on the parchment without having to redo their entire plan. So I guess it was, a Band-Aid, and it kind of worked. And it did really have, maybe the Roadrunner and Wyatt one are going to be using the parchments a lot, so maybe it's good that they made it. Remember when you did yours, Cooks, for All Stars?
Yep.
You put everyone's cast reveal thing on it except for yours. That was clever.
Yeah. The whole thing was you gotta put a check mark on who you're voting.
No one did that though.
The thing about it was, is like it highlighted Roadrunner, and Cricket brought that up to me, and it was also horizontal. And I looked at theirs, and theirs was simple, but it looked nice. And I was thinking about what would look nicer to read votes on. And in my opinion, it would have been that one after hearing their points. But it was already too late. I voted for one, and I don't know why I did. At the time, I thought it was better. But then when I listened to them, I was like, you bring up some good points. I think maybe the losing tribe had the best parchment.
Yes. I mean, I think because I do stuff on Canva, I'm not a professional or anything, but I do know that, like, finding that font was hard, and changing the colors to be just the colors they want was hard, and I don't think people saw the work that went into it. But Cooks, what did you decide that we should do next time we do the Parchment Challenge, which would probably cause even more drama and chaos, but hey, it's the first one, why not?
Well, I thought, like, because I was listening to what they said afterward and that changed my mind, I was like, oh, maybe it should kind of be like Final Tribal Council, where they pitch why there's the best right off the bat when they submit.
Yeah, and then that would actually make it so more people are participating, because the person that's a better speaker could do that part, and then, you know, the more creative person could do the other part, and they could be kind of judged on both. So I do like that idea. Maybe we will incorporate that next season. We will see. So anyway, we decided that the Roadrunner tribe won. Cricket took a big, huge nutty. And, like, she's on, like, they're on VC with all these people. And, like, I don't know.
By the way, it is a double tribal. Two tribes are going separately to vote somebody out. There's only one winner.
Yeah, so they're upset. They lost. They're going to tribal. But, like, if you're playing Survivor, you can't act like a sore loser in front of your tribe. Like, there's, like, such a happy medium to being like, go team, we hate production. Because this is what you said, too, that it was good that they hated us. It was bond them together, whatever. Like, go, you know, we hate production. We should have won, blah, blah, blah. And, like, being a big fat baby and a poor loser like Cricket, and just go on and on and on for, like, an hour about why they should have won. Like, it was a little much.
Yeah, even, like, there was a point where I had to be like, they were making some valid points, but then after a while, I literally just told them, yeah, you lost because you suck. Like, yours was the worst, so you lost.
I know, like, you can, like, mathematically, you were last. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. We did some numbers, and the numbers said you were last. So we've got two tribes going to tribal. The
old tribe I found to have the much more interesting tribe dynamics and tribe goings on than the.
Oh,
it was the old tribe and the young tribe going to tribal council, but the middle-aged one.
The Buster and Babs were a snooze fest. Like, they were a snooze fest. I mean, we'll probably talk to them. We'll probably talk about them for like 5 minutes. I can tell you that I did watch their parchment making as it involved. And, like, they added one thing to it that was, like, the name, like, breaking out of the parchment. And I thought that was so cute. And then they took it out. And I'm like, you would have won if you left that in. That was so cute. It like made the whole parchment. But of course, I didn't tell them that. But they shouldn't have taken that out.
Yeah, they had some dead weight to cut anyway. I do think their tribe will be more exciting later on because even the players I know aren't, well, not know. There's some players on that tribe where I'm like Alice and Wyatt. I don't know how much good players they are, but you're looking at you're rooting for them. They're rootable.
Yes, they're sweet,
So
and you
they-
kind of want them
they're-
to win.
they're- Yeah, like you don't want them to get voted out, but you don't expect them to do any huge moves either.
All right, so Granny's going to tribal, and let's backtrack to when they're making the parchment. So they're making the parchments, and Cricked is like, oh, they're not doing it right. But I don't want to take control, but they're not doing it right. So the next day, they got on VC and pretty much took the whole thing over, and everyone's like, sure, why not? Do whatever you want. And then they were taking my Looney Tunes thing and taking it in such different directions. Like, it's Looney Tunes. Why would you put Animaniacs on it? Like, yes, Animaniacs is kind of Looney Tunes, but why would you put that on the parchment? And then then they're trying to talk everyone into doing it Pinky in the Brain. I'm like, Pinky in the Brain? I just want plain old bugs or something on there. So I guess they did end up putting bugs on there. And so he took over the whole parchment making. No one really had a say. I think everyone was like, yeah, okay, and acted like they helped, and they really didn't. So now they're in VC trying to figure out who is going to go. And Cricked takes the lead on this. And the people in VC were Cricked, Goose, Chase. Those three. These three are like, they're a trio. And Scott is with them, but Scott wasn't around then, so. And Tony was really quiet the previous day and didn't help in the challenge at all. But he was smart enough to know his tribe was in VC. Hey, I'm going to be in VC. So I cut out. And he got right into that VC, and he got into that, main group. So
I hear you.
Oh, why can't you hear me? All right, let's see. Oh, I was talking about. So now we've got the Granny tribe in VC talking about the vote out. And we've got like 3 key players. We've got Cricked, Goose, and Chase. And Cricked is taking the lead on this vote. They put out 4 names. First of all, he throws out, I don't know if this is good or not, because I feel like nobody wants to throw out 1 name, but Cricked throws out 4 names. But they said that if we're going to go with social and vote somebody out for their social game, it would be Goose or Brandon. And if we wanted to vote somebody out based on their challenge performance, it would be Ty and Tony. Which is pretty funny because Tony was in the VC. But Cricked did say that Tony did say why and whatever, and they were fine, and Tony was pretty much off the table. But if I was Tony, I would be like, I'm keeping an eye on this Cricked.
Yeah, that's actually, I missed that. That's funny that they threw them out right in the VC. But yeah, a VC group of 4 kind of comes together, and it becomes,
But in Scott, there was a group of 4 in Scott who wasn't even there that day.
Scott was the 5th. there was a VC4 and Scott who wasn't in VC. And Scott, this makes sense of what I know from Scott previously, but he always becomes beloved. I'm not even sure if Scott likes me personally, but for some reason I never got on the Scott train and we got off on the wrong foot when we played together. But
Oh, I'd forgotten you'd played with him.
Yeah. So a lot of people really like Scott. I have no reason not to like Scott, but he's very cocky, and I knocked him right off his high horse when we played together, and he was really mad. He was really mad. He said it was the first time he got 10th place because I blindsided him 10th place, and he was always talking about, oh, I always get to the final 3 every time. And I was like, well, not this time. And he did not like that at all.
I think you told me what he did, and I think we probably shouldn't mention it, or we'll get canceled. So.
Oh, he told you about that?
No, you did, didn't you? Were you the one that said he cried or not? No, that was somebody else.
Well, he didn't cry.
Okay, he didn't cry.
He was mad.
I think I mixed that story up with another story, and I'm sorry, Scott, that never happened. All right.
Yeah, basically, the VC4 and Scott is beloved. People were bringing up Scott as a joke to vote out because they were like, they were talking about in the challenge, because the production was younger, that they were biased against the old tribe, and that's why the old tribe lost, which is not true, but that's what they were saying.
And Scott is the 53-year-old.
Cricked was like, okay, just jokingly, we can vote out the oldest person. And they were like, oh wait, never mind, it's Scott. We can't vote out Scott. And everybody was like, yeah. And everybody's like, he's such a sweetheart. We love him and all this stuff. But yeah, Scott left a really good impression. I don't know what he did specifically to make everybody love him so much. People kept bringing up the fact that he had 9 children as a reason to like him. I'm like, okay.
Well, he's got to have some patience. But I did read through Scott's CFs. He is working with Goose in the safari. They're working together. There was some note that they found, and they were working together to try to figure out what it means. Scott did say that he thinks he's pretty much set up for the time being because he's in 3 alliances and not made by him. So we have an...
Yes, I wrote about some of these alliances. I was about to get to them. But I was thinking that, so the VC alliance, Tony feels a little bit uneasy because of what happened there. And they're talking about the discussion right now, is what I wrote down was that Cricked was probably the biggest voice.
Yes, yes.
And Cricked was saying that no, the group of 4 were saying that Brandon, because he doesn't talk a lot. No wait, Brandon talked more in BC. They were deciding between Tyson and Goose, basically.
Yeah,
Brandon was kind of in the conversation.
Well, Brandon never came in the VC. He wasn't in VC.
Brandon wasn't active socially, but he was active challenge.
Oh, yes. And Brandon added 10 people to his CF, so he didn't have time to talk to anybody about getting voted out or whatever.
He was spending too much time talking to his confessional buddies.
Yes. So this is so the way Ty knows that his name is out there, and do you want to guess how he decides to save himself? What do you think he does?
I actually don't know about this, so you tell me.
He makes a whole bunch of alliances with a whole bunch of people just to see what will stick. And it worked, but So his plan right now is to act dumb. Like, act like a follower. And I feel like people use this strategy all the time, but they don't call it the act dumb strategy. They call it the under the radar strategy. But he's saying he's going to act dumb, act like he doesn't know what he's doing. And then later on in the game, he's going to strike and people aren't going to see what's coming. Goose is really mad because he did not like the way that Cricket lashed out about the parchment. Don Goose is annoyed because his plan was to get the most active people to merge. He wants to keep Goose, Ty, and Brandon. No, Goose, Ty, and Brandon are like collateral damage. He wants to keep the other ones because they're the most active. And I think that he's annoyed that Cricket was saying probably a couple of these names and he didn't want to hear it. And says,
it's also funny that Cricket brought up Tony because Tony, everybody was really enjoying him in the VC too. I feel like he's one of the players doing better. And also, I have written down here that Cricket makes a side alliance with Tyson, Brandon, and Tony because he felt like they were being undervalued, and he called it the Outsider Alliance chat.
yes, which this was a good move because Tony is very loyal to Cricket now. But Cricket is like, I don't know what this plan was about, but they were trying to pit Ty and Brandon against Chase because they think that Chase is going to be a liability long term and want to blindside him later. But this is day 2, people. Like, why are you, like, pitting people against each other for a vote that probably won't happen? I don't understand that moving at all. So now we want to get to the part where we have to talk about the Cricket thing. Now,
well, actually,
we got to
talk about Tony a little bit because
talk about what?
Tony. Did I draft Tony? Because I should have drafted Tony because I think he's my favorite.
He can't be your favorite because he voted me out of Big Brother.
Tony is my favorite, and because let me tell you why.
Okay, 1 second. Did you see him in VC when he was showing everybody his cat, and then he would just just quickly show a picture of his face, like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Here's a video of my cat again. That was strategic. Yeah. But go on, Cooks.
Also, something else that he was doing was strategic, which he brought this up in his confessional, is that on VC he was turning on a video and he was up on this grass greeny hill looking over the city, and he was filling his pipe filled with marijuana to smoke.
You sure that wasn't Don Goose?
No, that was, or was it Don Goose?
I think so, because I think Don Goose is the only one that's really openly into smoking weed. But
who was talking about that in confessional? I'm gonna recheck that.
I think it was Don Goose because Don Goose. But you're good luck doing that because Don Goose never shuts up.
Wait a second. Let me see.
Oh, this is a quote for Don Goose while you're looking. He says, "Grasshoppers are better." And kind of like a little bit of an anti-Cricket sentiment.
Okay, maybe it was Don Goose. I'm looking. Alright, maybe I got them mixed up. This shows how much I actually know.
Yeah, so we probably... Alright, so I think it's time...
Oh yeah, I'm talking about Don Goose right now. I'm looking at this thing right here. I don't think it should be that far back because it's a message that I send actually in their confessional. He also likes good music. He likes Green Day, so that's good. Oh yeah, here we go. He says in his confessional that was a part of his strategy. He said, "I'm trying to come off as..."
He's using the cook strategy.
He's like, "I'm trying to come off as the comic relief stoner guy, going into VC being like, haha, I'm high and whatever, but just being nice and making jokes, but all the time, I'm just soaking in the information and having people underestimated me."
Yes.
This is his quote. He said, "Perception. One of the biggest things in this game is how you're perceived. I'm very deliberately, when it comes to this, when I come to VC last night, I didn't talk when I didn't need to. And when I did, it was a joke or clarifying something. I got high and was goofy with them. I wanted to think I don't have a strategic bone in my body."
But watch out.
I was literally like, this is literally the strategy I used to win season 2.
You did.
Get high so people think I'm comic relief, all the info, and then take every chance I can to use it.
But it's
everyone.
true.
I was like, I like your style. So
people will keep you if they
Goose,
like you.
Of course, Don Goose. I have to root for Don Goose because he's doing the cook strategy, Cooks 2.0.
Oh, so it's not
The
Tony that's your
strategy.
favorite, it's Don Goosh.
Yeah.
All right.
And I thought that when he said that, I was like, bruh. That is... I never seen anybody use my strategy before. Besides
And we'll have to see if he does your strategy better.
so far, so good. I feel like he's really well liked, and he's in a lot of the alliances.
Oh, yes, yes.
You were about to break down some of the other alliances in the Old People tribe, right? I remember Cricket made that Outsiders alliance.
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure if any of them are really going to stick. It was more like Ty just trying to save himself. The major alliance, though, is the Dongush, Scott, and Chase, which we'll get to why there's only 3 in them. So, wait, did this happen? Oh, we should go into the tribal because...
Yeah, the vote out happened first.
The vote out happened first, and it was pretty boring. Everyone pretty much went with the Goose vote because Goose was pretty inactive, not really talking to anybody. I know some people said they liked Goose, but like, I think it might have been Don Goose or Chase or one of them was saying how they did like Goose, but Goose did not talk enough for them to, stick up for them.
Can I talk about... Sorry for interrupting. Were you about to say something important?
Probably not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish your sentence.
No, I wasn't. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore.
Okay, well, can I talk about the tribal questions I asked? Because the tribal questions I asked were really good, and we have some really good answers. In fact, I think these are some of the best tribal council answers I ever seen. Like, these players are very poetic.
All right, you
and
talk.
very fun.
I have to go check out my chicken, so you talk. I'll be right back.
All right, well, this is the Cook segment, Cook's Tribal Council questions, and these players, they are very witty with their words, and we get a lot of gems. The first I would like to highlight is Chase. We were talking in the VC, and I was saying I'm doing tribal questions and whatever, and Chase is like, make us do a ranking on how attractive everybody is on our tribe. And I'm like, well, since you guys are the old tribe, I don't see anything wrong with that. So that's the question that I asked Chase. The question, quote for quote, is, Since this is the older tribe, I can ask you this question. How would you rate your tribe mates based on hotness? And here's the answer by Chase. This is Chase's ranking of how hot everybody on the tribe is.
Wait, was I on the list? The next-
Hi, Butter Cookie, if that is your real name. I think this is a perfect question for me, as I myself am not a hot person.
No.
As myself am a hot person. My whole tribe, just by being on my tribe, are obviously hot. I mean, looking at this group, studs across the board. However, only one can rank supreme in the competition of hotness, so this is my ranking.
We actually
7.
ranks them.
Tony, he is a dog, and personally, I'm not attracted to dogs, but you do you. 6. Tyson, well, obviously quite hot. Seems to know he's hot, which is scary, so I have to rank him low. The only person allowed to be aware of their hotness is Chase McKay. 5. Brandon, love this guy, hot for sure. I recently got broken up with by someone named Brandon, so by default, he has to be ranked low. 4. Scotty, hot, but in a silver fox kind of way. John, hot in a subtle way. You forget he's hot at first, and then it jumps out at you. 2. Cricked, hot because they appear to be Gabby from the Traders, and Gabby is objectively hot. Goose, hot in a cute way, which is my favorite way to be hot. And there's a lot of other good ones here too. Before I move on, Straw, do you have any comments on Chase's hotness rankings?
I mean, you should have had him rank me. Like, where am I on that list? I didn't. I just need to feel better about myself. Next time you ask them to rank hosts on their hotness. I bet you'd be first.
Some other ones too. I didn't want to give anything away. I was sort of leaning towards asking Don Goose about his marijuana strategy, but I didn't outright say it because that would be cheating.
Yes.
So I said, Don Goose, when it comes to strategy, what is the fuel that lights your torch?
I love that. You are sneaky.
I know. I was really on point with this tribal council, and Don Goose's answer was so good. I pinged it for a possible episode title. I don't think it was used though. But he says, I mean, if we're comparing fuel to strategy, if victory is a bonfire, we don't have this thing lit yet. We're just trying to get the sparks going. But if enough momentum gets built up tonight, we could be in for a fun game. And I'm like, where do we get these casting people from? They should be in my script writing program.
Yeah.
Like, this is some really good writing. If victory is a bonfire, we don't have this thing lit yet. Did you just come up with that just now?
Yes.
And there's some other good ones too.
Yes.
Like, you can't lie, that's impressive. Like, those are some poetry there. And I was like, we should name the episode "Victory." If victory is a bonfire. I think we went with the correct one.
I mean, we can always change it if we want. So
I like they're both good. There's another one I want to highlight that was really good. There was 3 that were really good. Like, it was a really good tribal for questions. Let me see. Cricket. Goose. I asked Goose, since this is a Looney Tunes season, how does this first round remind you of a Looney Tunes short? There are some questions that are just like your basic, like, what's the criteria for being voted out and stuff. I have that one. But because there's so many players, there was actually 16 people I need to ask tribal questions to. I had to have some fun questions. So some people got easier questions than others. But that's kind of how it works in Tribal Council. If you watch Real Survivor 2, if you give something to Jeff that makes you vulnerable, he can jump on that for a question. Otherwise, he'll just ask you a question like, oh, how's the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
So Goose's answer to that is like, it was really interesting. Like the cartoon, it was a lot of chaos. We worked together, but when the results came out, there was a lot of arguments. In the safari, I felt like Wile chasing the Roadrunner for something I couldn't. The idol, of course. At the end of the day, that's all, folks. For one of us, at least.
Yes.
I'm like, why? Why do we have a bunch of poets this season?
Oh, I
Like
don't
these
know.
are perfect answers. Like this is a scripted TV show or something.
Yes.
And I think that one for possible title too, because Goose saying at the end of the day, that's all, folks. And him
Yes.
being voted out. Spoiler alert. Is perfect.
Yes. So
Anyway,
like
go ahead and put in your 2 cents, Straw.
so basically the only exciting thing to happen at Tribal was the tribal questions, because Tribal was pretty boring. Goose went home 7-1. Goose stood up for himself and said, I'm voting Cricket because I don't like the way Cricket talked to production about their parchment. So,
Yes.
this is one thing I want to say too. So, Goose goes, he's off into his pre-merge thing, and then Cricket sends a message in their CFs saying, like, talking to Goose and being like, Goose, why didn't you respond to me? I was trying to get you to blindside Chase. Why didn't you respond to me? I'm like, why are you even bothering? And why are we blindsiding people first vote? First vote should always be easy, because is it worth pissing people off? Like, I don't know where their gameplay was, but it seemed odd to me. Did you see that, or no, you missed that?
No, I knew that there was drama, but I didn't know specifically what it was. And honestly, it would be a bad move to blindside Chase. However, with the type of players that they are, it kind of makes, like, I feel like there's a lot of large personalities. Chase is a large personality too, but Cricket was definitely the largest in kind of a bad way. And so I was expecting to see some clashes. We can both agree that the Tweety and Granny Smith tribe, right now, in my opinion, is the most entertaining tribe. Like, they are very fun players.
Oh yeah, like if we just had the Granny tribe, we wouldn't need the other tribes at all.
The only thing was Cricket, but even Cricket was entertaining until they went over the line. When they went over the line, we will get there, but we still have to go and do the tiny Buster and Babs Tribal Council, which we didn't even talk about.
Oh, I
Their
don't.
camp life up in
I
Tribal
don't
Council, and
have
I'm
a
gonna be
lot.
real with you.
They were boring. I have like a half a page.
I didn't even pick any notes for this Tribal Council. I thought it was very straightforward. I have stuff to say about them individually, and I can go over my tribal questions. But you say what you have to say with the little notes you have, Straw, because I feel like you know more about this tribal than I do.
All right. So basically, Ace, he's in some kind of theater program. He's active, but not as active like as some of them. We have Alice, who I feel like love Alice, but Alice is just playing to make friends, not being very strategic. Wyatt, I have no idea what happened to Wyatt. Maybe he's doing the lay low, first vote, easy vote kind of thing. Because I was really expecting Wyatt and Alice to form a strong duo. And Wyatt did say they did have a duo, but I don't really think they really even talked to each other about it. Reese says that they are controlling the tribe, and it was their idea for the good vote, but then also said that they're doing I'm going to pretend I don't know what I'm doing and just agree what you're saying. So I don't know how they want to take want to take credit for the good vote and then act like they're dumb. I don't understand where that's coming from, but that's where Reese is at. I'm trying to think, like, they're not really, nothing really all that exciting happened. I do want to say that good does go home. I do want to say that good, when I looked
the thing is about... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, when I went back and I'm like, who's good? Who's good? Like, I don't really remember casting him because I have a bad memory. And he did say in his apps, he likes to make complex moves to win. But how do you do that if you do not talk to anybody? Do you know?
It's too complex for you to understand, Straw.
Oh, okay. Too complex for me to understand. Oh, dear.
But I remember talking about good in the cast assessment, and we assessed that this is exactly how well good would do. It was something along this lines. I need to go back and check exactly what we said, but we did agree that he wasn't going to make merge, and I think I said that he might even strike out or be first boot. So I feel like with good being voted out here, it didn't surprise us at all. He played as well as we thought he was going to play.
Yes, I agree. And now that I don't want to go back to talking about the more interesting tribe, but I have Goose's application up here, and he says he's been playing for 7 years and have won 27 times. And I think he was the one that says he's played 200 orcs. So I guess if you get first boot, then of course you're going to be playing a whole lot of orcs. I don't know. But 7 years, and he's got the Alto strategy, which must be the under the radar strategy, which I guess that's what they were trying to do, but it didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, I think the thing about Goose also is when it comes to veteran players, I kind of got this sickness as well, where you feel like you have nothing left to prove. If he's won 27 times, what's 28?
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? His heart and soul isn't in it like some of these other players who haven't won one. So even like somebody like Alice who hasn't made a merge yet.
Yes. I feel if Alice knew how to play, they would be playing their heart out. That's why I was hoping that Alice and Wyatt would team up, and Wyatt would help her a little bit because we said in our app, and when she applied, she said in her app that she gets targeted for being inactive. So I was hoping she would team up with Wyatt, who never shuts up, and that he would get her to open up a little bit and play a little bit harder. But that didn't happen the first episode. Maybe it'll still happen. Who the heck knows?
Yes. And there was something that got touched on in the tribal questions I kind of forgot about. So many fun character moments from the Granny and Tweety tribe, like the disdain from, I think it was Cricked, but maybe Chase too. It's kind of sad that we talk about Cricked so much because they had a lot of potential to be entertaining. They were just too toxic.
Yes,
but their disdain for being called the Granny tribe. They were like, we're not grannies and grandpas. What? Because a lot of them are like 30 years old. You know what I mean?
Well, did you see that they're the next day, they had no idea that they were on the Granny tribe because they were old? I'm like, how much clearer could I be that you were the older tribe? I put you on the Granny tribe.
Yeah, and I think they came to the conclusion that some of them are grannies and some of them are Tweeties.
Oh yes. All right. Before we go
I wanted to talk about some of my tribal questions for the younger tribe because there's some good ones there too. Not as many, but there are good ones. one that sticks out is Wyatt's answer to my question. Let me go take a look. And if you know anything about Wyatt, is that before he was getting casted, he said he was so excited because he made his Roblox profile picture.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was his big thing. Even though, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what his profile picture has anything to do with Looney Tunes when I look at it. I'm glad he's excited about it. And so, I had 16 questions to ask. Some are harder than others. I was running out of things to ask. And so, I just asked Wyatt, tell us about your Roblox PFP. And, this is what he said. I made it myself! Exclamation mark. It's based off scene culture, in brackets, even though I can never be seen. Just because I like the outfit and style, and I think it's cool. It's also funny how my question has nothing to do with tribal. XD. It's so funny.
Yeah.
This isn't a bad thing at all, Wyatt, if you listen to this. But you're on the right tribe.
Yes, yes. Okay, so are you still going?
Another good one
okay.
is, I asked Log, well, this is my last one that I'll go over. I was just very happy with my questions. Log, how does it affect your game being on the younger tribe against two older tribes? Will beneficial or not so much? He says, I think it doesn't really benefit us or hurt us. We're all young, we have some passion, and I bet we're going to take some ass and take some names. We might have a slow start, but we are better than those grandpas and grandmas. So, anyways, what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted you?
Oh, you weren't rude. All right, so I think that I don't want to totally forget about the Wily and Roadrunner tribe. They didn't go to tribal. They weren't very exciting. But I think we need to touch on them a little bit, and then we'll talk about Cricked. And I don't want to talk too much about Cricked because you know how I feel about people that were banned or whatever. They don't deserve attention. But we do have to say what happened. All right, so I've got J-Soy here, and I played J-Soy in org. I won't be negative about other people's orgs, but it wasn't. I find that Survivor is a serious but fun org, and this org was just like a fun org. So I wasn't quite sure about J-Soy. I'm like, I feel like maybe he was a little inactive, but everybody was inactive. So I casted him. And this is right after cast reveal. He says, now seeing the cast reveal, I see Scott and Max. Everyone else I don't know. So he knows Scott from All Stars, and he liked him. And Max, I guess he was spectating the season, but Max was a total villain and was cutting off. Oh, maybe this is teenage speak. Was pretty much known for being a total villain and cutting everyone off. So, yikes. He just kind of goes on. Eric is, small talk. I feel like they're just doing small talk since they didn't go to tribal. Seren, I feel, can we talk about what the heck I did about the genders and how I did a replay of All Stars? And there's literally one female. I mean, Alice isn't any, so I guess we'll just say she's a she so we can have two.
This cast is really good and a lot better than last season. So, I don't know how much we can question your cast. The thing is, unlike real Survivor, we don't have thousands of people applying.
Yeah, and I base what I like on the person, their personality, and their apps, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, that's a female. So Terry he's pretty much on the bottom of everyone's trust ranking. I don't think he's playing the game hard enough. He does say this is his first org ever, so that's probably why, and Saren's not really believing it. So I'm not sure why Saren is thinking that Terry is sus, but we will see. Saren is playing a social game, but Saren is also playing One Piece at the same time, so I'm hoping that she knows her loyalty is in Survivor. But the person that seems to be running this tribe is Trav. He's on the top of everyone's trust rankings. Everyone seems to like him. So he's somebody to watch for. So he's someone to watch for. And I did a whole thing where I did everyone's trust rankings, except for the little kids, because no one did them. So basically on that tribe, the person that, I guess it's J-Soy that they trust the most. It's pretty much J-Soy and then Trav. The person that is last is Johannes and Eric. So, but I don't even, they're about to go to tribal. Oh, yeah. So they're about to go to tribal, and I don't think any of those ones were mentioned. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So,
yes. And go ahead.
No, I was going to go on and just touch on the Cricked thing, and then we can, give our crowns and stuff. All right. So what happened is we already talked about how toxic Cricked was about their parchment and how the parchment would have won. We would have been able to, let that go or whatever. But then they started being rude to our production members. Like Mr. Noob, we all know Mr. Noob. He's 13. But I guess Mr. Noob said that they should have came in second. I don't know what he actually said to them. But Cricked's a grown-up. Mr. Noob's 13. Leave Mr. Noob alone. But I'm like, okay, Cricket's upset because this whole thing, let's let it go. Cricket's upset, taking it out on Mr. Noob. It happens. So later on, I get a ping from their one-to-one with Chase. And they asked for an alliance chat. And Billy, who is on production, went in there and teased them, oh, so demanding or something. Just teasing. Cricked lost their mind. And then was like, why is he in my one-to-ones with Chase? Production shouldn't be in my one-to-one with Chase. You shouldn't be interfering with the game. And I'm like, Cricked, you pinged us here. And if you want an alliance chat, you're supposed to be doing it in your subs. Well, they lost their mind going on about how, I don't know. It was just so toxic. And then they went after Ayla. And I guess what happened Ayla was in VC with Cricked. And Cricked was going on and on and on about how their parchment should have won. And Ayla said to Cricked that, I don't know, Ayla should not have said this, but said that a lot of our production members are like teenagers and that they should have known their audience when they made the parchments. Which Ayla should never have said that, just... Why? But Cricked went after Ayla and started making up all these lies, saying that Ayla was saying how she's the best like this org wouldn't run without her, and all this stuff, and how it's all run by kids, and like I feel like the words were just twisted, because Ayla knows that this org can run without her, because Ayla hasn't planned a single challenge. Like, I don't know, it like made no sense, and then we let it go, and then later on she's, all Cricket's doing is telling everyone that, they're walking, and it was just so toxic. And I'm not sure if you guys remember back to the Little Big Planet season. No. What Ayla played Wicked. So back then, Max and Ayla were pretty close. Max hosts his own org. And Max said that, Ayla saw that Max was a mutual friend. Max said, do not cast them. They get mad at production, and they walk every single time. Now, I will say, when I looked at Cricket's app, I think I even said this in the cast assessment, like, this person's going to be trouble. But, they talked about having autism and how people take things that they say the wrong way. And I'm like, you know what? I work with autistic people. I will give this person a chance. But I should have listened to my gut and said, this has nothing to do with autism. It has to do with a personality flaw. Because you don't be toxic to the people that are volunteering to help you play a game. So anyway, Cricket's banned. Chase is pretty much upset because Cricket was Chase's number one, and now Chase feels like it's 3, which would be Chase, Scott, and Dongush versus Ty, Brandon, and who am I forgetting?
Scott?
No, Scott's on that 3. There's I get Tony. So Chase is really feeling there's a 3x3, and if they go to tribal again, they might be in trouble, because he's thinking that Scott, Chase, Dongush, Tony, Ty, and Brandon. But fortunately for them, Scott found the free vote. So we'll have to see how the free vote comes into play later on in the game.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. And also, it's interesting that you pointed that out, because I was kind of looking things over, and my perspective was that it was everybody against Tyson and Brandon. But I guess Tony is kind of with them too.
I feel like Tony is, if he's smart, he will play the middle. If he's smart. Because I feel like it would be smarter for Chase, Dongush, and Scott to pull Tony over and save the free vote. But we'll have to see how that plays out when they go to tribal.
Yeah, if I was Tony, I would probably just vote out Tyson or Brandon, because they are not as active, and I feel like I would just try to it depends. If their tribe was winning a lot of immunities, I would do it. Maybe I would be a little bit concerned if we were on a losing streak, but I feel like Tyson and Brandon would get voted out before Tony.
I think so too. So
yeah, so we can go over drafts.
Well, I feel like I drafted the big 3, so I think I'm pretty good as far as my draft. And you said that you have Tony in your draft?
Yeah, let me go check my draft. I forgot who I drafted. I wish I drafted Dongush.
Yeah, I think I did draft Dongush. One thing I want to say is, maybe we could talk about our crowns while you're looking that up, is I'm not really sure who to give my crown to, because Dongush, Scott, and Chase are playing so well that I don't even know who I would give it to. That vote was boring, so I don't even know who was had the most play in it. I think maybe I'm going to give it to Scott because, well, all these people are in VC. He somehow got in the VC Alliance when he wasn't even in the VC. So I'm giving it to Scott.
That's pretty good. My draft is pretty good too. I have a winner pick Nathan, first draft Don Goose, second Tony, and then third Ace.
Mine is pretty good, except I should not have drafted Terry. But I drafted Terry because Terry was so sweet. So I drafted Scott.
I'm gonna have to give. Sorry, go ahead.
I drafted Scott, Dungoose, Chase, and Terry. Terry's gonna be the downfall, so I hope Terry sticks around.
Yes. My crown is gonna have to go to Don Goose because he's explicitly using my strategy. I don't know. It would be a crime if I gave it to somebody else.
It would be.
There are some updates with the draft. Some people lost their draft.
People did. Yeah, I have to update that because I didn't update it after the Cricket.
Neck lost their winner pick, which was Goose.
Yeah.
Logan, like King Logan, King of Survivor, drafted Goose as well.
Yeah.
Is that all the Gooses or?
Yeah, there was only a few.
Oh wait, Guy drafted good. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, so predictions for next episode.
Well, this is kind of hard because we already know what's happening next episode. I don't know if we can because they're about to go to tribal and we're about to see who gets voted out. So I think that
I can do predictions. I didn't pay attention at all.
Yeah, so why do you think about it? If the grannies went to tribal, I think Tony would stick with that big three and Ty or someone else would have gone home. And actually I'm going to ruin it because I shouldn't say who won. I shouldn't say who won it because who lost tribal and who's going to tribal because then we'll have nothing to talk about next time. So you say your predictions and then we'll say goodbye because I have to eat my chicken. So you go ahead.
All right. My prediction is that I think.
But you know which tribe lost and which tribe's going to tribal.
I think I know too much to predict, so I don't think we can do predictions this time.
Yes, I think it's time to say goodbye and see you probably tomorrow because they're doing tribal tonight and I have to get the challenge ready and I have to eat my chicken. So we'll probably see you tomorrow for who goes home tonight.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. And Straw, this time I will sing along with you.
Oh, yay! You will sing along with me.
True friends
And scores forever, forever, friends stay strong. Two friends grow together like melody and song. When I'm feeling blue, so I'll wave through. We're far together, who friends me and you. Special friends, very best of friends, side by side till the very end. 'Cause that's what friends do. You can count on melody and song.